And I had this eye to see a man in my mom, to see strength in her. Masculinity is the ability to see it, to feel it, to see it, consciously see it. You know, yes, we saw the strength. Yes, we saw that, but it's not limited to that. Oh, my mom can hold a house by herself. What is masculinity? Then I start asking questions rather than giving answers to myself, because questions open.
You've just stepped into An Empty Street, a podcast where you casually engage in difficult conversations about relationships, wealth, and health. We are just three curious gentlemen who ask questions almost about everything, and our aim is to find answers from others and within ourselves. We sit down every week to explore unaltered conversations. So let's walk the talk together, and welcome to the Empty Street Podcast.
Yeah.
Friend, ne?
Yeah.
T-shirts.
Hayi, ngisangabona ukuthi uzodakwa. Ngisangabona ukuthi uzodakwa.
Uthelile le bhodlela phansi.
Yeah, ngithelile. Ngisangabona ukuthi uzodakwa. Asisiqalile njalo. In 3. Uyazi boss, untwana sekashiya.
Belisa lingena vele nayo leyo mfana.
Ingena ungayishida ngibone ngifuneka la uchithi iyangena.
In 3,
2.
we're rolling. Welcome to the Empty Street Podcast.
We back.
We're live. Another day, another Tuesday.
Another week.
Yeah.
Like what we always say, we come packing gifts and we're gonna let the gift unwrap itself. It's one of that.
Sanbona Bafethu. What's the podcast?
Empty Street
Podcast.
Empty Street.
Yeah.
My G. I can see the T-shirts as well. I should get one.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to this interesting conversation because it's already interesting. I can feel it. Just by your presence and this initiative. I think it's important for South Africa, not just for South Africa, but for the world at large. So big ups, guys. Big ups.
No way.
Sure. Appreciate that. But you haven't introduced yourself. What?
Yo, igama lami Linda Bafethu. Linda Nhlanhla Ziqubu. Ngivela eSoweto originally. But man, I'm basically everywhere. Soweto, Vosloorus, Emakhasan. Yeah, man. And now PTA, it looks like a home. It feels like a home. It is a home.
Yeah.
Great
stuff.
Nice to have you, man.
Thanks for pulling through, man.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for pulling through. This
Anytime.
was necessary.
Sure.
This was necessary.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, man, what are we talking about today?
Masculinity.
Talking about masculinity. All aspects of masculinity and what it means today. I don't want to say the attack on masculinity, but also tackle a bit toxic masculinity, the darker sides of masculinity, if there is such a thing. So I don't have a question that I can ask. But I think the first question I can ask is, what does masculinity mean to you? And to you.
Sure. Yeah, it's a very pregnant term. The irony in that is too much as well. Masculinity, I'll just put it in simple terms. It screams strength. First things first, when I hear it. It screams strength. It screams, or rather speaks, power. It does that, but it's not only limited for me to a male body. Masculinity is energy, and we find strength even in water. Water has enormous strength, but it's very light. It allows you to just jump in if you want to jump in a pool. Doesn't resist you. It also doesn't resist you going out of the pool. But when it pushes and it's a flow, let's say it's a river, it can knock a huge tree down. So masculinity for me is that dynamic, that it never is alone. There's never a masculine man without femininity. There's truly a masculine man if there is femininity in balance with it. Yeah, you see them balanced in all areas of their life, their relationships at home, they have children, their minds are pure. Even when they speak, you can tell, you can hear, man, this person is matured, and maturity not just of age, but what they're speaking about, or what they articulate at any moment in time, whether they're in business or meeting a stranger, is profound, even if it's just a sentence. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack of it, but essentially masculinity is that for me.
And for Ananda?
I think we
Sure.
so like when I'm going to don't want to get.
No matter before you explain what idea you have
Yeah.
the masculinity. Whenever we mention the word masculinity, what does it mean to you?
I think in a very easy way, as you just said, there's a lot to unpack to it. But then, just to be straightforward, I feel like it's energy, but more to it. You understand? It's more. There is more to that energy. You understand? Because if you were to look at it, the energy that masculinity has given birth to so many things. I can name a few things that I know that the masculinity has gave birth to and also destroyed. You understand? So it comes to a point, as you were even mentioning, toxic one, because it's part of a thing that is yin and yang at the same time, that it destroyed, it also gave birth. But then at the end of the day, is what defined a man. You understand? It's what defined a man, Uti. If you see Uti, especially I like these movies, Wama movie, Wama Sort.
Yeah, sure.
La movie of Dala Lawa, Wama Sort. I feel like that's where you get to learn masculinity. That's where you get to learn Uti. What does it mean? Not only by reading but seeing. Because these people, I feel like they show you what does it mean. Ukhona ukubona amajita aphuma avaya ngenyawo, avaya uzitira yozingela or ufuna ini, and come back and you see the victory even in their facial expression, the way they celebrate it. You understand? Amongst just amachita world, then you see what it means to them. But as a woman looking at it from far, you wouldn't understand. You'd be like, these gents are just making noise. We wouldn't understand, because the energy they have, they understand to achieve this. It's not just a simple thing. You understand? But for me, that's where I started to even understand the masculinity, like shit.
Yeah.
You couldn't born with it. Not this thing as seasons are maybe simple. You just take out the gun and you just shoot all of that. Even if fight your con, you will see with it. That's where you build up. You understand not only just using your weapon.
Sure.
You understand. So you're born with the development. That's why I'm saying it is more about energy. Because you understand, especially when it comes to EV. When I'm asking, maybe see a fire now. Then you see maybe in Mpumalanga, we're going to face a machitas in Mpumalanga. Then when we come back, the energy is not just energy, man. It's passion inside. There's power, victory. Young told us, uncle isn't the same feel inside. That's where we're facing a real war, but we managed to win it, to overcome it. Young told, that's masculinity for me. You understand? That victory, you to achieve something that someone thought that one won't be possible for you to win it, but you overcome that and come back and victory, and you see in your eyes. Amachita, there's a lot of things that we say that Amachita were card, but through victory, guys can cry, can even show you one tear. Like you even see what does that mean. Even now, we are on the World Cup. How much it World Cup? You born with lento le by Luel. If Bakata win, you see good. Yeah, it meant a lot. It was not just a game. There's a lot behind it. See that someone is fighting for a family. Someone is fighting to prove themselves that they're worth it. Someone is trying to prove themselves to their fathers, like, I'm a man enough, I can do this. You understand? There's a lot of things, there's a lot of meaning, and there's a lot of pressure behind, even from society or whatever pressure now behind you. But at the end of the day, the victory, it means a lot. So that's power. That's a lot, man. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. For me, that's masculinity. That's where you get to see it, dude. Oh shit. Without doing it was a lot of people back home back funding. Maybe school right now. Maybe we don't understand. We have never experienced it. No, if you have never experienced such thing, I'm telling you, that's nothing. You can learn it. We can tell you about it, but until you experience, because still, sure, maybe if you have never experienced it, does that make you a man? Does that make you less of masculinity? Does that mean that you have less or more of it? It's something that we can even debate on. But if maybe you're saying, you have learned about it. Sure, I have learned about it. I understand what is it. But have you experienced it? Have you felt it? Because I feel like those are two different things. Knowing about it and also experiencing it. Those are two different things. But once you do experience, I feel like that's a victory no one can compare to anything. Yeah, but yeah,
on my side, I'll try to keep it short.
Sure.
Like for me, I would say masculinity is. I'll start with the word. The word masculine, you would think of a man.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. An image of a man would be drawn, right? And then it's attached with emotions. It goes with your emotions. There's emotional traits, there's masculine traits, and there's feminine traits. You mentioned earlier that it's like the two have to be in balance, you know, femininity and masculinity. I don't think you can have just one without the other, you know.
Yeah, in balance.
Something we'll cover later on, obviously, within the toxic masculinity traits.
Yeah.
You were mentioning something with indoda ikhali. That is. Crying is part of a feminine trait, you know. So, and there's no such thing as because if you're experiencing overwhelming emotions, you reach a point where you have an outburst or something, you know. So for you to kind of cheat yourself of those emotions is
Express
obviously
yourself.
that's obviously it's self-inflicting. You know, that is to your own detriment in a way. So it doesn't help you into saying where else you just piling up emotions. You know, and then from that you don't really heal or actually get through anything. You know, masculine can be physical also. You know, the way you built, the way you are taught how to do manly duties or whatever. You're a provider. So those kind of things. Those are another ideas of what being masculine and masculinity is. You know, but yeah, I'm not gonna go too much in depth, just so that we can keep the conversation going. So yeah, those are just a few ideas I have.
Yeah. Proper.
Yeah, man.
I think you guys have said it. Like I can't have a definition as well. But I think, yeah, I think it's the images that we have when we mention masculinity. We have those images of a muscular man, and I hear that we talk of a balance between femininity and masculinity, and like when you look at it, it's like a man. When you perceive it, like a man is supposed to be more masculine than feminine. So I'm wondering, Guti, is there really a balance there? If ever, when we look at a man and we associate that with being more masculine.
And you must remember we're talking about
being like at a balance, because
masculinity in this day and age.
Yeah.
So that's how masculinity is perceived today
in this day and age.
Yeah.
as compared to traditional ways.
Yeah.
You would then be
Yeah,
expected.
which is what.
Yes. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that
I
you
mean,
can
I'm
continue.
gonna call you Nhlanhla, dog, because that's the
Nhlanhla,
name I
Linda,
know.
it's fine.
You said Linda.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, now I'll call you Nhlanhla.
Yeah.
So you mentioned something about water, the river, that flow. So I got an impression that you are sort of defining it as something that's fluid.
Yeah.
It doesn't target a body to say, okay, it's a man's body or it's a female's body.
Yeah.
But masculinity exists where it is allowed to coexist with femininity.
Yes.
That's what I got from you.
Basically, the essential grounding to that point I need is consciousness. I think this day and age, consciousness is being realized more and more.
Yeah.
Meaning, it's not about what it is, but it's more about being. It's more about the ground of all these concepts. Where are we rooting it? And is that ground stable? I think these conversations are there to test that.
Yeah.
Where are we grounding our views? Is our view an opposition to a different view, or is our view inclusive? Meaning, it's no view at all.
Yeah.
It's a view that seeks to explore rather than to be definite. It seeks to just dance around it, and that's how nature, I think, creates herself. He does what he does, and then what happens is not a result, but it's still a process.
Yeah.
You can never say it's finished, but even when you say it's finished, you are right. Hence, I'm saying it's a view that is not in opposition to something. You said something that I had an immediate thought about.
How old were you when you started to understand even the word masculinity?
How old was I?
Yeah.
To consciously understand, because here's the thing.
Consciously, I like the emphasis consciously.
Because we get told, like as a little boy, you
don't understand,
you don't understand, but it's like these ideas get to be communicated to you on what a real man or what you should become as from a boy to being a man. Like those roles from the actions. For instance, what I was thinking while you guys were talking, from what I was getting, I'm getting fluidity from you. I'm getting victory and power, which is, you also mentioned power. I'm also getting the way it's being modernized, the balance from your definition. And I'm like, it is kind of simple when you define it from a female perspective. Because when you look at a female or a feminine perspective, it's like masculinity is defined by the actions that a guy would be following. Meaning, if a guy shifts me from the car side of the road and puts me on this side, he's masculine, because now he's demonstrating that he's willing to die for that person.
Sure.
And which is something men have been doing for years. When it's a war or a battle, men have been being on the forefront and fighting for their countries, and women, whenever it's an emergency or there's a fight, women and kids are protected so that men can be on the forefront.
Sure.
And then you look at things like, still a definition from a female perspective, there's this thing that women find really attractive, veins on a man's arms.
Especially moving.
On a man's arms. And you get to see that, it has to do with a physique now.
Sure.
A man has to have, of course, to have veins popping out, you have to be working really hard. And in those times, that working hard was building, lifting these stones. Of this size, hard labor.
And in a young age.
Hard labor from a very young age. So meaning that your body will kind of develop into being more muscular.
Yeah.
And you get to hear things like, that was the second one. The third one would be, you get to hear things like, when a man makes money, he just automatically becomes attractive. So you get to see that that's a result of working as well. Do you guys know about the 3 6s that women want from men?
3 6s.
Yeah.
What's that?
No.
What's that?
They want a man with a 6-pack. They want a man who's making 6 figures, and they want a man who's 6 foot tall.
You answering Kwanga? Okay.
Yeah, those are the 3 6s.
Sure.
And they get to define really what masculinity could be.
Sure.
The 6-pack represents working hard as a man. And the results of that are the 6 figures, meaning the money to provide for the family. And then be 6 foot tall. That's a physical trait that represents the best performer or the best hunter if we look at those times.
And those are the idols that are worshipped as soon as we believe that those are truths. Truths in a standpoint of truths as that's a lie. Because when you say something, it's a lie, you are giving it energy by focusing on it.
Yeah. Sure.
And therefore, it's still part of worship. It's still part of focusing on it.
Yeah.
If I were to start fighting something I don't see now, it would start fighting me back. You know, then people will start, he's crazy, people watching me.
The
you know,
bounce back of
I'm fighting something I don't see, but because I see it and I believe it's there, I'm pushing it away. I'm saying, you are lying, you are lying, you are lying. You know, I'm making it true. Those are the idols. I use this word very intentional. It's idols that are worshipped, and these terms, I use it very intentional. I love these spiritual terms. I have a background of Christianity, hence I always use these words. They mean a lot to me.
And don't forget my question.
Oh, how old was I?
Yeah.
When I yeah, man. Where was I going? What was the question?
Confusing. My question was
the stone, the idols. I was there. I lost the track of thought. That's it. I was there. I'm coming back to that.
Okay.
Yeah. That as soon as we realized that our parents believed masculinity to be firm, to be strong, to be unchanging, was flawed, because masculinity is changing. Why are we saying that? Men today are not like men back then, even though we still carry their genes. It still pops up there and there, but because we are conscious beings, we are constantly evolving, constantly expanding and adapting to the change. It's like walking. When you walk, you are constantly in balance, meaning you are balanced, and you are constantly out of balance. That's walking. And I think that's what masculinity is to me. It fits in that structure. It's like masculinity is a step, and femininity is the space. Masculinity is the action, and femininity is the space. One wouldn't exist without the other in this relative point of view, in this human point of view. But in the absolute, I would say space can exist without objects. Because the moment you say space, you mean empty. You mean that's why they say mother nature. They don't say the things in nature, but they say Mother Nature as the space that carries all the things in nature.
That's powerful. That's powerful. Again. That's powerful.
So the objects in space constantly come and go. We know thoughts come and go. This is going. This conversation is going. It's not going anywhere, but it's basically not there, but here. That's the true presence of God. He's not here, but here. That's the stepping, that's the walking. You are not balanced, but you are. So you are constantly a child. You are constantly born. And when you were born, you were not identified as a man or a woman to you. You were just being, and that's still here now. It just messes up all the concept of time. I know this seems to be like topics that are interrelated, but they all explain this one dynamic nature of what we are talking about. When we say masculinity, we actually mean femininity. When we say femininity, we actually mean masculinity. Because how can you say this is this without me being here? I have to be here to say this is this. And then go there to point at this that is here.
just like we'd say, it's at night.
It's at night.
You wouldn't realize that it's at night because the day
day
also
was
exists.
Yes.
Sure.
So the light exists in correlation
correlation,
with darkness.
The darkness, yeah.
So I totally got what you said.
But in this term,
And
like
going back to his question,
oh yeah. How old was I? No age at all. I wouldn't say it's time. It's timeless because even now,
But conscious
there was
so,
no
but-
specific
but
point
more-
where you were
there's
like,
no specific point.
no, I
that's
don't- I
that's
don't
like
think
to
there
spot
was a specific point.
to put a stone Buddha there and
Yeah.
say that's the time. It's not. Like even when I say it is now, it's not because I'm realizing it now. True.
do you have a time?
You know, we just explained something whereby you were saying good. You were taught you need to behave like this.
Yeah.
You need to do like this. You were taught masculinity, but you were not aware.
Yeah.
That was it. But now the time that you realize, good, oh shit, this is what I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
You understand? That's why I had to behave like this. That's why I had to do like this. That's why they gave me job like this.
Yeah.
So that they build me up to be who I am today.
Yeah.
You understand? So I started to realize that I think it was in the age of 16.
16.
Yeah, in the age of 16. For me, it was in the age of 16. That's when I started to realize. I even got a chance to watch that a movie, this type of a movie that I was explaining. Movie like War, a
Yeah.
victory. That's where I started to understand this is what a man's supposed to do.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
I know that time I was even not diving deep in such things. But I remember watching that movie and I understood as a man, a victory means a lot, especially if you're going to win a victory that no one believed that you could win it. You understand?
But do you understand that by watching that movie, it's still something you were told?
Sure. So I do understand that.
So I thought your question, when you asked your question,
Yeah.
it would relate to your own experience when you realized internally, according to an experience, not external experience.
No.
It's timeless.
It's timeless.
It's timeless, my
because
brother.
there's something you mentioned with it. We become.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
timeless.
And we
The
are
moment
called
you
human beings and not human becomes.
yes,
For a reason. It's because we are being each and every single time, and it's timeless.
Timeless.
We
it's always now.
it's always a process of becoming something, and there's no end that we're gonna say, yeah, I am that. And so same applies with the masculinity as well. I could have some ideas of what it could mean, but there's no end point to say, yeah, that's what it is, and it stays like that. Like going back to
it's
the
like a tool
conversation
we
here,
used.
how our conversation started. Into ekala from a very young age,
Sure.
and then you get to develop these ways
It's
of
worth
doing
doing
things.
these.
Yeah,
Sure,
I'm told.
sure,
So
sure.
it's never, it's never like one thing, because also when times change, we are
adapt.
required to
Yeah,
adapt to
Yeah.
those times,
Sure.
according to what's needed at those times.
Sure.
Young thought.
Yeah.
So we can't really say, masculinity is this and it's
It's
that
stamped.
valid.
It's stamped. Yeah.
Yeah, but we have to pay attention to the core and key things that constitute of masculinity.
Sure.
For instance, if you're gonna say victory, you know with it, victory is like the number one consumers of itiski, amachita, and that's for a reason.
Sure.
I'm told. Because even our chemicals inside our bodies are different. A person who operates out of estrogen and a person who operates out of what's that one? What's our chemical, gents? Testosterone. Yeah. They're gonna be driven by different things.
Sure.
Young told.
Chemical not the same.
And at the same time, we have to have their balance.
Sure.
So that's what I'm thinking with it. We'll never really define masculinity and say masculinity is this or femininity is this. But coming to the modern times where we are asked with it, we should have a balance. We have to define or have a way, Yoguti. We are still
doing what's best for us, or what's best for masculinity and what's best for femininity.
But are we asked, or are we demand to balance, or are we demand to say one should dominate? Same as
I think that automatically just comes.
It's not a domination.
I think it just comes.
It's not a domination.
Because if you look at it from a dating perspective,
sure,
like naturally us as guys, we just fall into being providers, and naturally, I don't know if it's natural, but it just happens automatically that also females just fall into doing the feminine things, or doing things that are perceived as feminine. So
is that part of the experience, or it just happened?
I think it's experience most
It's part
of
of
all, because
experience, it's
you
part
go
of what
through
you've been
you
taught,
go
yeah.
through what you've been taught.
oh, welcome back, bud.
Yeah, being God.
Yeah.
You go through life experiencing things that have been passed down to you.
Sure.
You know, and things you are taught along the way. So through that, you pick up on personality traits that you adopt as your own. You know, and then some it's like, okay, you know, with the maybe Maglu, you don't want to see the daughter going there. You know, instead you'll see the male figure going into Vele, the fields, Ayolus and all of that. And then in Ksala Vele, the female,
Sure.
either making impoop and all of those stuff, you know. So those kind of things also. You as a kid, now you grow up identifying yourself as the father figure in your life, because you're male as well.
Sure.
So you would gravitate towards
Such.
those areas where males are around and all of that, you know. But it's not to say that especially in this day and age, because we know that I think it was a question we left as an open-ended question on the episode we had with Ash, actually, about who raised these kids. You know, so in this day and age, we already know that females are, we are being raised by women. You know, so that means the people that we come across today are people that have been raised in a way that they have both sides to the coin. You know, they have femininity and then they have masculinity, you know, and both like hold this person in the balance, basically.
I think my question was more about that, what you're saying. What's more dominant is that we are being raised by women, right? So we are more exposed in the feminine part instead of the masculine part. So hence I was asking with you, which one that dominates the most, instead looking at the experience, looking at our upbringing.
I think it's for me, it's what's flawed in that question is it seeks to, I think it speaks of separation, like there is a division, and the moment there's a belief in division, then division means war, division means conflict.
Sure.
Conquer this one. He's different from me.
Yeah.
But immediately when we realize the oneness that actually is not even oneness, when you are alone and you are this universe, what would you say? Would you say anything? In fact, you wouldn't. You are one, you are whole, you are present. And so in that, I think that's where the problem lies. Even when you read the Bible, it first tells you about the division. When the division happened, that's when the chaos started. But when God was just God, there was nothing. The waters were still, meaning there was calm. It wasn't talking about emptiness of this, what we call earth and stuff, but it talks about the consciousness of the beings that were there or that are here, because it's timeless as well. You know, it talks about them like they are still. And from that, something shakes and the word of God comes. That's their thought. They know how to relax their thought, and they know how to rise their thought consciously.
Sure.
And then create consciously what they create. That's why they can even write down what creation is and how it unfolds in terms of a story and stuff. You know, so in terms of that, why is it that we choose one side more than the other?
And if you were to remember that time we were at Book Lodge, Kabel Shabalala.
Sure.
There's this question that I asked that guy was, since he was saying that he will take these boys, right? They will read a book that was written by a woman, so that they can get to express emotions. Experience emotions from a woman's side, right? So I asked myself that if a guy, he has one parent that is a woman, there's no father in there, then you get to experience those emotions from a woman's side, the one that is present, a physical one, the mother. Then you get to experience the one that's on the book. Are you saying now this person is not experiencing the emotions from the mother? Now he still needs to experience this emotion from the one that is written on the book. So are we? It's also come to the point that I was even asking that, even is it a feminine part dominant than a masculine when we grow up? Because we are more exposed to a feminine side than a masculine side.
Let me respond to that. Let me respond to that. I think it's once we've reached the stage of conscious enough of your being, yeah? Being, not even your being. There's nothing like your being, there's just being. Because it's not my being and your being as if I'm identified to the body. The body is part of being, the body is not being. So I'm not the body. Being carries the body. If there's this big enough space that shows me like a mirror, like you are this big, then I carry this body doesn't carry me. So immediately when someone identifies with the body, then it's normal for them to identify with the man and not the woman. Meaning when you identify with the body, meaning I'm this and not this. So whatever you say, I may push away because I'm not this. So I'm always constantly watching for that thing I need to push away and that I need to grab to, because you are not me. So I need to grab you because you are there, and I need to push you because you are there and you are not me. But immediately when I see and I know that I am consciousness, immediately there's no division there. You get what I mean? So if I grew up in a family, let's say they're very spiritual and they know about these ideas, I would, and my mother would go, or my father would go and fight somewhere, wars back in the days, or even now it's fine. And I had this eye to see a man in my mom, to see strength in her. Masculinity is the ability to see it, to feel it, to see it, consciously see it. You know, yes, we saw the strength, yes, we saw that, but it's not limited to that. Oh, my mom can hold a house by herself. What is masculinity? Then I start asking questions rather than giving answers to myself, because questions open, answers close. They both related, yes, of course, but questions are much more saying there's more out there than what you think is right and what you think is the answer. You can answer, but realize that within the answer there's a question. And within the question there are answers. That's the life itself. I'll die having questions one day. I'll die having answers one day. But I'll know that they both won't matter, because being is always is and never dies. So immediately you see a father in your mom, you see a man in your mom, you don't limit your mother or mother. Let me not say your mother, because that still separates. You don't limit mother to the body. That's spitting at Jesus, man, once again. But I asked my son this question yesterday. I was like, what is the essence of mother?
And your son is 9?
9, yeah. What is the essence of mother? I was like, what's essence? I explained what essence, something that cannot be disturbed. I explained the space thing. Like space cannot be disturbed. So the essence of all physical creation, if we were to say that, is space. Because you can destroy anything in space, but not space. So what's the essence of mother? And he went around and said that and said that, but you can destroy that. You can destroy that. And I ended up leading him to love.
Yeah.
Did your parents just meet? They had to love. They had to feel something.
Yeah.
That was the foundation. There was no mother then, relatively speaking.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
There was no mother then. What was there was just love, the desire to connect to the union, to show that life is not separated. We always have the desire to meet and chat like this, to be together. Ne? And then they meet, they had to connect even more sexually, and they had to love, because how can a woman open up to you if they don't love you? That's, love is openness. It says you are welcome in me. All of you are welcome in me. So that's what sexual intercourse really means to me. And then a baby comes. Then the baby says, Mom. Who is the mother there? Love itself, because love is the foundation there. Without it, you can never destroy it. Mother and father can die. Whoever you say body, they can die. But mother cannot die. You can still say mother even when you don't have a mother. That shows you the slippery nature of what we call death. My mother is not here, but you said mother.
Yeah.
If something really, really is true, like that, like if something is a lie, it wouldn't be allowed to exist. If something is bad, it wouldn't allow to be. Like think of the word bad and try and describe it, something that is not allowed to be. If nature agreed with it, you would never know what is bad, because nature wouldn't allow it to be.
It feels like we're in a lecture.
Now, man, it's
Yeah,
information
but-
within us, all of us, but it's essentially that. Like, for me, mother or father, even femininity or masculinity, it all points back to this one being who is unchanging. And if we know that ground and we stabilize in that ground, then we can speak of the roles we play. If you know your naked body and you're not fooled by the clothes you wear, like you are not naked, you are naked even when you wear it. We know that we are essentially naked. So if we find that analogy in what we are talking about, what is the essence? What am I essentially? I'm not essentially these clothes, I take them off.
Yeah.
So when I know the naked body, then I can wear these clothes consciously. But if I am a character trying to change other characters, I'm just part of the system. But if I'm space containing the character, I'm much above the character. And I can inhabit any character at will and come out of it. I can take the role and say, let me try this type of man. How would it work? Even I still do it now. I don't know what man is. With my son, let me try this. Maybe it will work. Nah, it doesn't. Let me try this. It's fun. I'm just playing around. And by doing that, that's how I learned to be a father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an actual formula, man.
Yeah.
For
But
like,
if we are lento le, the way even Nceba it comes to a point ukuthi you get to realize ukuthi right now I feel like a man. You understand? Because there's a certain point where you're like, okay, I'm a boy, and a certain point you feel like I'm a man.
Sure.
You understand?
Sure.
And sometimes you would say it unconsciously, so that I'm a man. Like just but there's a point where you get to realize that I'm a man, and you saying it in your mind, you get to understand Uguti. Or there's a list of things that a man should do, or there's a list of things that define a man.
So,
You understand?
sorry to interject.
Yeah.
What's the defining point for a person to say, okay, now I'm a boy, and then, no, I'm a man.
A
now.
man. Yeah, I
What
understand.
defines that besides age?
Yes.
Because I think most people say it's
That's
with age, and then
that's where I
when you
was
reach
going.
a certain, when you're after 18, and then you start saying, okay, I'm a man. Like, besides that,
Yeah.
what's the defining point?
that was my question, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
that's
so
what I
there's a
wanted
book
to
I
ask.
read, The King, Warrior, Magician, and Lover. So they mentioned something about initiation.
Sure.
So in my culture, I'm closer.
Yeah.
We go to the mountain, and other cultures as well, they go to the mountain.
Sure.
So that is the initiation where you get to now change the definition of who you are as a person to say,
Sure.
okay, from boy to man.
Yeah. Is that being teached, Uti? You now we are a man. It's because of this and that, or just because you went there, then you think like, okay, I'm
So
a man.
it's something that you go through.
Okay.
So it's something that you go through that makes you define yourself now as a man, no longer a boy, because of that experience you've had there.
Okay. And remember one thing, Uti, if you zoyekas, amachita paya vaya it's not about experience born, because in the end that before even bayada they're like calling themselves basaphetheleza induku bahamba ngama short pen bahamba ngenyawo. It's like, yeah, I'm starting now to be a man. You understand? They have experienced it, as you're saying now, Uti. It's the experience, it's what I have went through to say I'm a man, right? Bona babaga no intabini, but before even they go there, like they feel like now they're being a man. So would you say it's more about the expression, it's more about the feeling, or it's just more about just proving yourself that since I'm going to do this, and I feel like I can call myself a man, and I can even go to amachite kasi angai lang niya kona, because when are you preparing to go there, and I'm not preparing to go there, and even I won't even go there. Then you feel like you're better than me. I feel like you are more a man like me. So which one
So
is
it
it?
goes back to the first question. What defines masculinity? Yeah, ngiyanizwa. Khuluma ngebalance and everything, but we have to be very practical about it, because apparently we are all trash here. Still lanje, we are all trash. We are all toxic.
Yeah.
Our masculinity is very toxic. So manje, I think we have to
Separate the two.
define, like really define ukuthi, what does masculinity mean? What defines you to say ukuthi you are masculine right now? Because as you guys were saying, ukuthi, we were raised by our mothers, and to an extent we model ourselves and our characters and who we are off that. Meaning we could be more feminine as far as
Dominant.
we can say.
Feminine is dominant.
That's what I'm saying with you. We could be more feminine.
Sure.
But now, how do we become masculine? Or what are things that define
Masculinity.
being masculine?
Right.
Because
Yeah,
we have
Nceba.
sons to raise.
Sure.
We have daughters to raise who should know the differences between the
And
both.
we need to be conscious.
And who should be tapping more and embracing their nature. Because now we live in a society where a woman would come to you and say, hey, I'm masculine. I'm masculine. And we have to understand those things with you. What does she mean when she says she's masculine? She's disagreeable, and maybe that defines masculinity to her with whatever a man says, she doesn't just take it. She questions it. Like, what does it mean for this generation? And what does toxic masculinity actually mean? If there is such a thing as toxic masculinity.
You know, there is a view. Like I said, I'm not taking any view, but that's a view in itself. Just to say that, just to take a view. You know, in the world, when we then were born or said to be born, we are born beings, right? Just beings, not a girl. Maybe we'd say female. That's our ancestors trying to start, or rather giving a name to that base, just a female, and we are still pointing to the body and not to the actual being. But that's fine. It's evolution. Grows into what, a girl, a baby girl, sure, or baby boy, and then grows and grows in adolescent stage. That's when it's the hard stuff. I like this, I don't like that, that's my friend, that's not my friend. That's when the division comes. It's necessary. There isn't anything existing that is bad or good, you know, it just is. Then from there, identifying with that means identifying with the body. The child obviously grows knowing I'm a body, this my mama, this my papa. That's okay. But then we stop at the point of I'm the body, this is me, Linda, and this is Nhlanhla. I'm a boy, I'm a man, yeah, and I have experiences to prove for that. As Linda, the character, I don't have experiences of being a man. I literally don't have experiences. I've once said I'm a man, I've once acted like a man, I once did the actions that men did, fought girls. I did a lot of things that were said to be manly, you know. But still, I feel my mom's in me more, you know. Probably because that's the only person that I've ever seen. It's natural, it's logical. Yes, it's logical that happened. It's not any fault, you know, because when you say that's a fault, then I say my pops dying was a fault. You know, that's not a fault too. I know I'm going to die. I'm not going to be surprised when death comes. So we stop at a point when we are identified with our bodies. Yeah? But there is a way I can really explain to me what a man is from a perspective of a body.
Yeah.
Indoda, it's a dick. I'm sorry to say that if it's not allowed to in this podcast.
No, it's very much allowed.
We used, oh yeah. Sisebenzisele gama indoda for a reason. And she pointed to indoda.
Yeah.
Indoda. Ne? Study a dick. A dick is
interesting. Bro, you studied a dick.
I've studied a dick. Yes, that's gay, bro.
Yeah, there's another toxic masculinity.
Yeah, like fuck you. That's gay. I have a dick. I'm a dick as well. So why would you say that's gay? Fuck you. So it's a dick. Ne? In relation to a woman, and all respect to women who are watching or who are about to watch, all respect to you. A guy is decisive. A dick is like this. It's a decision. It's decisive. Those are the attributes. Very decisive. Very direct. Now. Sure. So, direct. Yeah. But if I this guy's a bitch. You know? Can't even look at me straight in the eye. You're a bitch.
Yeah. Okay,
can't even look at me straight in the eye.
It goes back to what they say, would see. Masculinity is order and femininity is chaos.
Yeah.
So I was listening to a podcast this week. They had Jay Waller as a guest. So he was like, as a man, you should be the mountain that women's emotions crash into and stops and stabilize that. So it made me go back to, okay, masculinity means order. And that's what I'm getting from what you're saying, Uguti. Like that being direct, being decisive. Yeah.
Check this out. I wrote something yesterday concerning this because I was like thinking about masculinity.
Where did you write that?
In a book somewhere.
Oh, okay.
You know, just ideas outpouring. That since we have established that there's a decision, you can tell it's a dick. You know, it's direct. It doesn't miss where it's hitting. It hits where it wants to hit. Yeah. You know, it doesn't hesitate. Yeah, maybe I'm there. I know where I'm going. And that's where I'm going. And that's a man. I know my drive. I got my hustle. And that's where I'm going. You know? Semen. Oh, let me not go there to semen. And then let me not go to semen.
Why don't you want to go to semen?
It will take me to much other stuff. Like I don't want to travel there for now. But it's something that we can walk in. I wrote something yesterday.
Yeah. Let's hear then.
Adam and sharing it.
Yeah, shout out.
So yeah, I established that a man is a decisive, direct, a woman, because they're like space, you know, a womb. When you think of a womb, it's like space, it's open, very indirect, and hence emotions, you know, they rage.
So that's why kumele sibadecidele ukuthi kumele badlale. Abakhona ukuzidecidela bro. Like, baby, what do you want to eat? I can eat anything.
No, my in, baby.
Yeah.
You know.
And then we have to lead them when it comes to saying what are we eating. Or you
Indoda
give
ngithi,
options
they say
ukuthi
it's the head.
It's either we're eating this or that.
Yes, it's the head, indoda ngithi. But hey,
Hey, that's the toxic masculinity.
you have to be above.
Hey, that's the toxic masculinity.
So,
Like,
which
a man is a head.
They say that.
They also want to be heads. So what do you say on that? What is toxic masculinity?
We'll get to that. I want to get to a point here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get to what you wrote.
Yes.
I see, but it
I was
was
refreshing.
deep.
I was refreshing.
Yeah, I see it's deep.
I was refreshing
I see
something.
it's deep. Yeah, something deep.
Something deep.
Yeah, there's something deep.
Yeah.
The way you've been breathing. Yeah, something deep.
There's a drink there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oros.
So in sexual intercourse, it's very, let's go there because it demands it. It's inspired to.
Yeah.
Check how your pleasure, it's not really your pleasure. Your pleasure is in hers.
Yeah.
Your pleasure is not your pleasure. Your pleasure is seconds. Oh, your pleasure is her. She's your pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah? And what are you to her? You are her pleasure because you are the substance in space. You are something that she has never felt before, because women, like we have established, like space. You go into a woman doesn't come in you. Nah? And so when a woman says, I'm a man, it's taking the attributes of a man, of decisiveness and directness and all of that, like the substance. I'm gonna make sure that I take importance in the things that I love about you than you. Because the things are the substances. When you have sex with her or she has sex with you, but we can't say that in terms of this perspective, because a man is the one that's direct. You know, I'm talking from the flesh, worldly perspective, and it's limited. I'm trying to at least establish some point that shoots out from there to the ultimate, which is consciousness. There's whatever that I'm saying right now is ultimately flawed in some way, in one way or the other. One might disagree with it, like, this guy is totally messing up. But there is some logic in it when you follow that our ancestors followed the physical. Like, this is what a man does, and that's it. So your pleasure is very small, but your pleasure is in her. But your pleasure in the world is large. As a man, success is what you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, your pleasure is large. And then you are her pleasure. So it's a balance, we would say. In when you need her, like, she's of value. You know, I feel like a man when I have a woman.
Oh, see what you are saying. Listen, see what you are saying is the same as the question I asked the guy who was launching the book. Uguti, according to my research, according to specifically the book I read, The Boy Crisis, by Dr. Warren Farrell.
You said he also read that, né?
Yeah, he also did, obviously.
Yeah.
Like he pointed out, because I know there's no way he didn't read that book. So there's something called the purpose void. He calls the purpose void, Dr. Warren Farrell. And the purpose void, meaning that men are now without purpose, because now we have women who are saying that they can do whatever a man can do, and all those things that man found victory in.
Yeah.
Those things that men define themselves as men when they are doing, women are now filling those up. For instance, what you are saying, Guti, being with a woman, and now that feels like, yeah, I'm a man. But now women are saying, Guti, it's okay to be single. Like, so I'm on my own. I don't need a man. So now it means that we have men now who are not sure of how they can define themselves or feel fulfilled as men because they can't provide for their women, which is something they felt really good in doing. Because women can provide for themselves, whether that's security or that's finances. They can hire ADT manje or whatever security companies are there for their security, and they can live in neighborhoods that are much safer. So you as a man, your chances of protecting that woman are like lessened to the pits now. So what are you there for? And you look at things like AMA finances as well. You have a woman who can provide for themselves, and that cuts out that feeling that you have as a man when you're actually providing for her. So that's the basis of the idea of the purpose void. So the things that we do as men to feel like we are men are like diminishing. So what defines us as men today? Like, what are we supposed to be doing?
Yes.
What defines our purpose? Because he answered me, he said, Wuti, just let God decide what your purpose is. And for me, that wasn't really practical.
Not practical,
It's not practical because I'm talking about things that are practical now. I'm talking about things that you're going to do as a man and things that are going to make you feel manly.
I think it's also mentioned something on a book when it comes to that. Even he said, he was talking about women who are single mothers, right?
Yeah.
Then also he mentions when it comes to men who don't have access to their kids, what he said was like, I feel sorry for you. Then it was done. Then he continued with the book. Even there, I feel
but no, this is not a conversation. Like, I'm just referencing one Kuluma about him. But he's not part of this conversation.
Oh, okay.
So we shouldn't talk much about him. And I mean, we have his numbers. He will come into the podcast and we'll have a conversation.
Yeah, definitely. We need him.
Yeah.
One day.
So
go back to it.
My question now is directed to you guys, Witty. What is the purpose of a man in today's age? And masculinity as well, because there's toxic masculinity right now. Men are encouraged to be more feminine than ever. So what does that mean for us as men?
That's already a problem. I wouldn't start there.
Why?
It's already a problem.
How?
Already you have alluded to there being a problem about us being taught, or men being taught, to be more feminine, and from there we have to first talk to those who have those opinions, and that's another podcast on its own. Yeah? And then about being men, that's a hence when I started off.
Here's my perspective.
Yeah.
If men are encouraged to be feminine, it means that we'll have a feminine society. We will no longer have that balance of masculinity and femininity. So it's a problem for me because of that. Because we don't operate on common objectives as masculine and feminine.
Sure. I'm gonna first
so
say,
we
say
have
this.
different purposes to fulfill to come up with a goal. Hence, I always say, Witty, men and women are better off together than apart. Because we complement each other. But now, if you're gonna make it one-sided,
we do not need each other. We do not complete each other. That's a flawed premise. I am complete, looking for a complete being, so that we can have complete children who know that within themselves they have femininity and masculinity.
But now it goes back to what's our definition of complete? Because I don't think our brains can comprehend that or can come up with an explanation.
The mind
of
can't.
What is complete?
Yeah, the mind.
We don't even. Like, I don't think nature is complete.
The mind.
It's a process.
Yes.
So we can never be complete.
Even to say it's a process is to complete it. To keep in silence and stillness is to realize.
This is a very interesting conversation.
To think about it and to say something about it, it's definitely to limit it.
Yeah.
Right now, whatever that we are saying is pure air. Do we know that? Like, essentially, it's air we are breathing, and then we go to sound. Before it even gets to any concept. Concept is there, far there, down there. And we put more emphasis on the concept and forget that all this is air, fundamentally.
Yeah.
So we can literally blabber the whole day and never say anything.
Sure.
But it's essentially that for me, that a person always is incomplete. If you identify as a person and that's what you think and that's what you think you are and you think you're gonna die, that's probably true, because a person does die. What's a person? The story. Who you are, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I was born there and then and there and there. You never think about that every day. So it's mostly dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Now we're about to wrap up, Donna. Don't worry about your class. We are about to wrap up. So there's this thing that they say. I think it's either a Chinese proverb or it was a poem where they said, Uguti, it was a message to men, Uguti, as a man, if you want to leave legacy, if you want to live on after you actually go, write a book, plant a tree, and have a son or have a child.
Sure.
Those three things. So it seems like those three things are what defines what a man's purpose should be.
What I'm advocating for, or not even advocating, but yeah, to say it like that, it's find out who you are, then you'll know who you truly are. Find out who you are, who you truly are.
Yeah.
Who you love. I'm certain of it.
Yeah.
Find out who you truly are, experience it, not just know it. Because the books written about who you are. You are this, you are that, you are that.
Yeah.
Like, this sounds empty.
Yeah.
Really
I think a
realize
book I'd
it.
link up for that is Untethered Soul. It kind of open
up a lot of
in a way
Experientially.
to understand the I.
Experientially,
Yeah.
spirituality is real. It's as real as men and women, like we are talking right now.
That's a term that's overthrown. Spirituality.
Yeah, spirituality, but I love it. It sounds sweet. For me, it sounds sweet. It hasn't been conditioned a lot by a lot of views. For me, I've kept myself in a sort of line that is comfortable to me for it. But find out who you are essentially before you are men, because you are not born men. Hence I'm emphasizing on this. If we were born men and women, then we would have this conversation heated.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we were born men. So what's the purpose of a man? I was not born man first. So that's a sign from nature saying there's something that transcends being men or women, because you were not always man or woman. You picked that up. You learned that.
But you are. You just are.
You just are.
Yeah.
You are I am before I am anything. I am is universal. Everyone says I am, whether it's in Chinese or Sotho.
Yeah.
You know, everyone says I, whether it's in Chinese or Sotho.
Yeah.
Where does this I point to? The I doesn't point to itself as a concept. Hence, even when you are asleep, you say I. That's being. You are being. When you don't sleep, you release thought and whatever it is, like you forget your home, you forget your body, you forget everything.
I think
you
we should have had Ash on this episode. Yeah. I know this is his type of conversation.
You release it into sleep, so you let go. So right now I'm saying, let's let go of our concepts for a bit and see if we'll be shaken.
Yeah.
Whatever that you think you are, just let go of it. Forget it. Believe it to be not true.
Yeah, I guess.
And keep yourself like a baby, open to experience something new. Find wonder in a tree. Find wonder in simple things and see how that unfolds. And then the resources that you are talking about won't be an issue, because you don't have an issue within yourself about having those things. If I have an issue about having those things, then having those things won't solve these things, because the issue is not those things, but having an issue about something that's not here. Because when I get there, I'll still have an issue like this is not enough. I still want that. Even when I die, I'm like, this is an issue. I resist death. But still, I'm dying. I know I'm dying. Gone.
I'm glad you just said that, especially in this what should I say? It's December time, right?
Sure.
Sure. You're saying this during December time, and people, they're going to have new resolution. They're they're going to start a year in this. You get me?
Sure.
But what you just said right now, it simply tells you as a person that there's still a lot that we need to realize before you're saying it. Oh, there's new year and there's new me. There will never just be a new you without realizing a lot.
You have
about
to be
yourself.
born again, literally.
Okay,
I mean
gents,
it.
I think we've kind of derailed from the main topic of what we're
Masculinity,
supposed to be discussing.
Yep.
And yeah, we don't have a lot of time right now. I think we should be wrapping up the conversation.
Sure.
And what I'm getting from this conversation is that we can never truly define what a man is. We can never truly define what a woman is.
I'd like to actually
It
throw
all
something
starts with a person, what you want to be as a person, and what you want to become. So we can never truly say, Uti, this is what I'm getting from this conversation, and unfortunately, it took a turn that I wasn't expecting, honestly, because I was expecting us to be more practical. If a young boy comes here and we have to guide that young boy to say, hey, look, young man, to define your masculinity right now, here's what you should do. You should build your body. That's the first thing. And it's going to build your mindset. And you have to have something that you're passionate about. You have to work on something. And that will define you. Like what Jordan Peterson says, Uguti, you have to have a purpose. You have to have something that's meaningful that you're doing. So that's where doing something actually comes in. Have something. Work on your body. That will like make you and make your mindset be on the right path to achieve the things that you want to do, and also see your limits as a person. And then you go to a purpose. Something that's meaningful, because life is not easy. Life is suffering. That's what the Buddhist says. So understand, Uguti, no matter what happens in your life, but have that one thing that you always go back to, and it will make you feel more of a human, whether the times are bad or good. That's where purpose comes in. And the third thing is love the people around you. Spread the love. Go all in the things that you're doing.
Did he put it in that order?
No. This is just me
summing up
from consuming his content and reading his books. But obviously not him alone, Jordan Peterson, but other people as well who've been talking about masculinity and my own understanding of where we are as a society, because also we have things like testosterone. We have isn't those which men are getting obese right now because of testosterone dropping. And you look at those men and you look at their daily activities, playing video games every day. The woman is the one going to work and doing the things. The man doesn't have a purpose, or he just has a job, not something that he's intentionally doing to achieve a certain purpose. You see, those things that are like making a man die inside, and they affect his body and they affect how he moves. So I'm looking at those things as well. So it's not just based on what I'm saying. It's not just based on Jordan Peterson, but those three things that I'm saying are the three things that I was hoping we would talk about, like to define young man. This is the challenges that we have in our society right now, but you should move in this certain direction. Men are demanding 50, women are demanding 50-50. Does that like empower you inside as a person? Like, besides isn't those we see the economic nature of things, where we are economically, one household maybe can't depend on one salary. But how can we as men now feel still as men? Because we get to see things with what you mentioned the other day, when a woman has money beside like, and you as a guy in Tasambiga, since we are with COVID and all of that, you get to be disrespected, you get to be reminded that you can provide, like all those things. Those are the things that bring men down. But how do we as men now? That's what I was hoping we tackle.
Sure.
But I think we went more spiritual about it, and I'm up for that because before anything, it comes I.
Yeah.
After all, we are not our bodies, we are not our minds.
Yeah.
When I'm saying my body, when I'm saying myself, it means that there's something that my body belongs to. There's something that myself belongs to. So that's a great start. But I was hoping Guti will get more practical. Guti.
Let's just say, let's just put it into this term that since you're saying we got more spiritual instead of more practical, then we're going to give people a part 2 of it, where we get more physical and practical.
Practical.
Yeah. Let's just
Okay,
make it
I
that
think
way.
we can wrap up the
Yeah.
conversation.
I've been letting you guys talk. Every time I try to say something, it's either someone jumps into what I say, and then I just let you guys talk.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But
You
things, no, I'm not angry, dog. Not
Upset?
angry. Nah.
You're
I'm
good.
having a good day, dog. I just can't finish this Oros.
Yeah.
So that's been my struggle, the bottom of that cup. But
Okay,
yeah,
let's hear what you think.
basically, there's a lot that has already been mentioned. Your concerns are being practical about the whole conversation, right?
Yeah.
There's obviously a side that's more spiritual about the whole thing. With me, I feel like the whole reason we're having this conversation is the whole thought of the idea of masculinity in itself.
Yeah.
It's a metric, it's a concept, as you were saying, and I think we are stuck on concepts. That's another thing as a society. It's by default.
Yeah.
We're stuck on the concept of trade. We have to buy stuff in order to have stuff, being here, you need clothes, all of those stuff.
Yeah.
So, but obviously just as a form of interest, people do want to know that what would you define being masculine? Because people don't even know what being masculine is in this day and age. Hence, we are even asking the question ourselves.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's set in stone. We would say a man should do this, a man should. No, I don't think so. There's institutions we mentioned now that where you go and they tell you, okay, this is how a man is, but that is also not set in stone because not everyone goes down that path. Not everyone is grown in a household where there's a man and a
Time and
woman.
conditions
Yes.
change as
So
well.
all of that has brought us to where we are today. Households don't have father figures, so you're obviously going to get exposed to a woman raising you. You have people where we had a conversation with Renee where she was saying that she had brothers as siblings, so that affected her upbringing. So she showed masculine traits, obviously, Nceba, all of those type of stuff. But it doesn't define her in any shape or form, right? It's just because of the experiences she went through, But yeah, those are my words in close. I mean, we can go. I think it's been an endless circle of just communication. So we
As
should
we say,
we'll get lost in translation.
Yeah, we'll continue with it,
We'll get lost
especially
in
getting more practical.
Yeah.
Well, from my side, I'd like to also say something lastly. I'm not very worldly. Worldly doesn't mean that I'm not in the world and I don't see this. I have experiences. I'm a guy who was once hurt, and I understand that's a character I play. And I really mean that genuinely. I'm an actor really by profession. I think that's why I use these terms. That's the character I play. That's the role I play. I play a role of a father. To say I am actually a father, I was not born a father, is to lie. And so my point of view in all of this, and right now to even have at least a final point of view of what this gathering was to me, is different point of views in different ways, even if it was silence, because there are some guys out there who are just looking at this and they're silent about it, and perhaps they seeing that resonating in someone who's here with us. So nature has a way of communicating an idea, because if I'm a person sitting here, I wouldn't know something higher than me unless I took that position, unless I took that point of view and stabilizing that. Then I'm able to observe not just the other bodies or seeming other bodies around me, but even this personality as it expresses, and then by so doing, I see what value this conversation has. because I'm sure somebody who's out there thought they were weird. I'm too spiritual. My friends don't want me. I watched this podcast and this guy was just like me. I never thought somebody was like me.
Yeah.
And that brings closer and closer. And to define something, that's something else for me. It's to say define something. I can talk about my experiences. They would seem to define something. I could tell you what a man is. I have a lot of ideas what a man is and what a man should do and stuff like that. I could define something. But it isn't for me. And I think truth is what I want to live and want to breathe in every moment. And this is just what is. I never knew what would come. Even right now, how these words come, I never know that. Who's I that says no is there? I'm just being and allowing these words and watching them come, you know? And so, yeah, man, big ups, big ups, big ups. I can't wait to watch it and listen to it from a relaxed point of view.
A viewer point of view.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But otherwise, as man.
So, ofuna ngikhuluma.
Yeah?
No, we're closing it, man.
Okay.
We're closing it, man. For me, it's like, I like defining things because we are in positions right now where everything just gets mixed. We don't know what's what. So,
but you
we
know that you don't know what's what.
Exactly.
Okay.
There are known knowns, there are known unknowns, and there are unknown unknowns.
Can you ever not know something you don't know?
Yeah. No. We're not there, man. Can
the light ever see the darkness? I know, I'm just playing.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that we know the things that we know right now, well, most of them, because they were defined for us. Whether it was throughout the years or we were just told straight, Uguti, indoda ikhali, and then it ends there. And you grow up knowing Uguti indoda ikhali. But now we are living in different times. And we were given guidance in a way. And I believe that we should be also giving guidance to other people as well.
That's true. So make up questions.
So that's what's important about trying to define things according to our experiences, because I'm not saying this is going to be the formula of how things are, because our experiences are our experiences and no one will ever experience what we are experiencing. But what we are doing by defining is giving someone something to work on a foundation to work on.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's be more practical on the part two.
Part two.
As we always say,
take care of yourself and take care of each other and take care of your pockets.
This is the Empty Street Podcast and we're signing out.
Thanks for putting through, man. That was a fucking dope. Yeah, we should come back.